What's up, you guys? How are you? Brianna here. I am excited for day 3 of videos I'm making, 100 days of videos in a row. And I got to be quite honest with you, I was really contemplating skipping today. I had so many excuses in my mind for all of the reasons why I shouldn't, couldn't, wouldn't be able to do this video. But at the end of the day, we all know that our biggest enemy is ourselves on the fleshly world. And I had a hard day last night. If you watched my video prior about getting married at first sight, at the end, I heard my bonus daughter crying and I had to like abruptly end the video. And so she was up and asleep all night. So I did not get good sleep. And then we had an early morning therapy session for our stepson, or for my stepson. And, and then I have had a long day of clients and I'm still not done. And this was my only time to get it. So I had to have that conversation in my head that said, Brianna, you are truly only committed to yourself. So if you do not follow through with what you commit to, what are you saying about what you believe about yourself? What are you saying about the things you commit to yourself? And how is this going to help you grow in the areas that you're truly desiring to? So here I am in my pajamas. Here I am in my pajamas. But I want to talk to you today about something that I know is relatable across the board, which is the identity shift and what happens when um, your life changes faster than what you feel like you can keep up with, because that's a season that I am in. And what I'm noticing is that there's this ease of, oh, look, and then see, Ace turns off the light. So let me pause and plug that back in. This is what we do here. Um, there, if I can't be authentic about what life looks like on a daily basis, then why am I here? Because that's the whole point of this, right? Is to find other women like me, or women who are in places further behind than me, and maybe even women that are further ahead of me that will give me encouragement. But either way, that's why I'm here, is to just show you the real life behind the scenes living, and what I'm learning from that as a 43-year-old woman. And so I have had to look at who I am in this new season of life, where I've had a lot of different identity shifts and I've had to let go of a lot of different identities all at once. Um, I didn't just become a wife this year. I became a bonus mom. I got really sick. I hit perimenopause and I was overwhelmed and shocked at this stack of transitions, because what I know to be true, excuse me, Ace, leave him alone. Y'all, the devil is trying to get me to not do this video. That is what's happening right now. Go lay down. Lay down. You're being bad. And you're not going to chew that bone because it's going to be too loud. Lord have mercy. Okay, so I didn't just become all of these things. In the becoming of these things, I've had to let something go each time. But like the speed with which it's happening at is, it feels both overwhelming and it feels hard to keep up with. And so in this stack of transitions, it's like I'm having identity whiplash. Literally feels like I'm having identity whiplash. And if that has not been coined yet, I feel like it should be, because when you are stepping into these different phases of life, it's like, wait a second. Okay, first off, and I'm going to be talking about this tomorrow, but I stopped running a business that I loved and started doing something that I got tired and burnt out of, aka therapy again. And then I became a wife. But the moment I became a wife, I also became a mom. And so I took on two roles at once, when for the last 7+ years, I have been living solo with ding dong number one and ding dong number two. So I have been used to like quietness in my life. I have been used to making decisions on my own terms. I have been used to an immense amount of peace that only I could disrupt. And so, in that phase of building my life back up post divorce, I really found who I was. Like, I was super confident as a businesswoman. I was secure in my I was super secure in who I was as a single woman. I was chasing after this newfound relationship with God. And I was doing all these really cool things out in the world, just being myself and really starting to feel super comfortable in who I was as this single, um, motherless 40 something year old who didn't own a home, who had a lot of debt and not a lot of savings. And I was working out all of this stuff. So it's really interesting because with all of these things that I've been praying for, I've been praying for a husband, I've been praying for a family, if that was in God's plan for me. And when it happened, one thing I didn't realize is you better be very specific about your prayers, because I got what I wanted, but I did not realize that what I wanted was going to come with a lot of having to kind of let things go or give things up, especially the amount of quiet time and peace that I loved having. Because when you have two toddlers, like, it's impossible. And then you have a husband who's a musician and an artist and a creative and a singer, songwriter, and a DJ. And there's always noise in the house. So I have had to grieve this version of me that could not be who I needed to be in this next version. I can't be selfish and focused only on myself. I can't be thinking about only the things that I want. I have to be thinking about what my family's needs are. And it's interesting because letting go of her was challenging in and of itself. But then let's add on me living in an apartment that made me really sick because there was mold in the home, and I have a mold intolerance due to another mold exposure, which left me with a chronic illness. So when I say I was sick, I was sick. And I had gotten to a point at about 41 where my body was banging from being at the gym. I was committed, I was dedicated, I felt good, and I just loved the way that I looked. I loved the way that I felt. And I got sick, and boom, I had no energy to go to the gym. My muscle strength was slowly deteriorating, and I was just physically exhausted all the time and would desire sleep more so than getting up and going to the gym. And then 3 months later, boom, perimenopause came in and like attacked my mental clarity, my mood, my sex drive, and all of these things. And so I lost this body that I was so proud of. And I lost the ability to go to a place like the gym and connect with my gym family and walk the dogs the way that I did. So I consider myself active, and I that identity was gone. I had to be okay with more stillness. I had to be okay with allowing myself to rest because it's truly what my body needed. But we move so fast through these processes to try to like get back to ourselves that we're not grieving the version of ourselves that we actually have to leave behind in order to move into another season. So even with my chronic illness, even with this perimenopause season that I'm struggling in, I will never be the Brianna I was before the chronic illness and before perimenopause, because this is a new version of me that I have to learn to get to know, to get to understand, to love, and to work around with in order to get those things back into my system, like working out, walking the dogs, enjoying being around friends instead of isolating, being more joyful instead of moody, irritable, and grouchy all of the time. I have to find that new version of me inside of the current version of my body, current version of my mind, current version of my life. So I felt like I was stuck in this kind of shameful, sad place because I felt like I had lost so much. The reality is that in the amount that I feel like I've lost, I've also gained so much. I gained a husband, I gained two kids. Um, I gained an awareness about my body that I never had before. I gained another tool to teach with and help other women through. And so it's really it's really a beautiful experience when you shift through these seasons of your life and actually allow your identity to change. So instead of saying, like, I don't know who I am anymore, it's really asking yourself, who do I want to be in this current season? And how do I want to feel about myself as I navigate it? Ooh, that was good. That was good. It's almost like thinking about it as an identity compression, right? So think about it as an identity compression. You're having these transitions and you're having these physical changes. The nervous system is overwhelmed. And if you haven't watched any of my videos about anxiety, go back and watch them, because when your nervous system is overwhelmed, it automatically goes into survival mode and you either land in fight, flight, or freeze. And in that fight, flight, or freeze, you're in survival with people pleasing, performing, perfecting, overachieving, playing the victim, getting restless. There are so many behaviors, procrastination. There are so many behaviors. But what happens in that transition is you are so overwhelmed in your nervous system that you start to go back to old ways of coping. But your old ways of coping can't serve you in this new transition in life. So I want to remind you, can you please quit? Lord Jesus, please be with me right now. You are not weak. You are adapting. You are not lost. You are just finding your way. You are not confused with who you are. You're just wrestling with how to let go of a part of yourself in order to embrace who's starting to come online in order to lead you through this next season. I have gained so much wisdom in the last 6 months that I feel like it is more than I have gained in the last 7 years. That's a lot of wisdom. So I want to encourage you that if you are in a space like me where it just seems like there are a lot of transitions happening at once and it feels like there's this sense of, I don't know who I am anymore, things are changing too fast, that right now you are meeting yourself over and over and over again. And in that is an opportunity to really connect with yourself on a very deep level. And if you are a Christian, to connect with God on a deeper level so that you can really be in agreement with who He says you are and with who He says He is, so that you can take that aligned action in meeting yourself again to really be in purpose. Because I think that's the biggest challenge. And I sensed it for me for a little bit, which was, well, this isn't where I saw myself being in my life right now. So like now I don't really know who I am because I'm not doing the things that I want to be doing, nor can I find the clarity to then do the things that maybe I'm supposed to be doing. And there's like all of this logic and confusion when it really doesn't have to be confusing. I just had to get back to things that lit me up. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing this series, is because I got tired of saying that I don't have any creativity, I don't have anything to say. And honestly, I got tired of like just posting, not clickbait, but posting on social media and like waiting for the response. Instead, I'm just going to start talking and I'm going to keep growing through my talking, because this is the season that I'm in and I'm not holding myself back anymore. And if out of this, I become a very clear speaker, great. If out of this, I get my own clarity on who I am, amazing. If out of this, I experience opportunity, perfect. Like I don't have an attachment to this other than I'm going to commit to something that I am fully invested in. And for the first time in my life, I'm not going to allow any excuse. I'm not going to allow any disruption. I'm not going to allow any other entity in life to stop me from following through with this thing that I say I'm going to do. So, as you are meeting yourself again, remember that as much as it feels like you don't have the capacity to move through this, because it's not what you asked for. It's not how you asked for it. Your level of wisdom that you're going to gain from this is going to be so huge, not only for yourself, but for your community, whether that's your spouse and your children, your family, your coworkers, your career, whatever it may be. And while we have limitations, I want to say this clearly, while we have limitations, recognize that in those limitations, sometimes we put up our own barriers and blocks that hold us back. And so, yes, we are limited beings. We can't do all things, everything's all the time, but we put up limits and blocks that get in the way of us really finding out who we are in this season or in the next season because we're clinging so tightly to what's familiar. So I want to encourage you as you move through whatever transition you're in. Number one, you are not alone. There are many others out there in the same exact spot as you are, questioning God, questioning yourself, feeling defeated, feeling overwhelmed, feeling disappointed, and acknowledge those things. But I wholeheartedly encourage you not to let them stop you, because there is a version of you waiting on the other side of whatever this transition is that holds so much possibility for you. And it's scary. To me, it's scary what that looks like. It's also very exciting. So I want to invite you to ask yourself, what nourishes you now? Not who you used to be, but what nourishes you now. So for me, I don't go to the gym every day anymore. It's just not in the cards for me. I've had to accept that. Now I do walk the dogs because I need to get outside. They need exercise, and nature is like a very healing place for me. It's a place where I connect with God. But for me, what nourishes me now is I'm really happy if I go to the gym twice in 1 week, even if it's for 30 minutes. What else nourishes me is scheduling a get together with my girlfriends 3 weeks in advance so that I can prepare myself mentally and emotionally, and also open my calendar up to make sure that I'm giving myself that time. What else nourishes me is allowing myself to be exhausted and actually rest instead of picking up all of the cleaning supplies and doing more. Sometimes I just have to accept that things are going to be messy and not look the way that I desire for a little while so that I can just catch a beat. So I want you to release an expectation that no longer fits you in this season, and then come back and let me know how that feels for you. My name is Brianna. I am a 20 plus year licensed clinical psychotherapist, but that's not all I do or who I am. I'm a multifaceted mentor that works with 6 and 7 figure CEOs, business owners, and entrepreneurs to help them embody more peace and purpose in order to walk into every room that they are in, commanding that space with not only authority, but authenticity. So thanks for listening, and I can't wait to post the next video. Ah. P.S. Sorry for my dogs. What energy is that?